On Larry King Now from London, the Crown star Claire Foy.
When we were shooting it, we all knew it was great and we loved it, but you're so used to, in this job, loving something and putting your heart and soul into it and then doing it and everyone goes, it was terrible, or no one watched it, or no one really cared. I've never thought that anything I would be in would be really successful, and I think it's a kind of a magic thing that happens. She's always done her job to the best of her ability, and she's constantly living in a world where her position and her authority, or what little authority she has, is entirely based on what she gets reflected back from the British people. And I think that's an incredibly precarious position to be in.
Has the royal family commented?
No, they never will.
You think they must watch it? Come on.
We definitely know that people in the household have watched it and that certain members of the family have watched it, but we don't know whether, the boss has.
Plus, now, is it true that you're going to star in Damien Chazelle's next movie about Neil Armstrong?
Yes, I think, Yes, I am, yes.
All next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. We're in London, where we're joined by the Golden Globe and Screen Actors Guild award-winning actress Claire Foy. She plays the young Queen Elizabeth II on the Netflix mega hit The Crown. The first season of The Crown, which won this year's Golden Globe for Best Drama Series, is available on Netflix. And the second season is due later this year. You're in the second season too, are you?
I am, yeah.
And then you're gone.
And then I'm gone.
Then you're replaced by an older you.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think I'm sort of reincarnate as someone completely different, which is why the show's amazing, I think, because that was always the idea. And so someone else takes it on, and I'm gone, and I'll be crying at home.
How'd you get the part?
The normal way. I just got sent the script and met with Peter Morgan, the writer, and a couple of the directors, and it was a relatively painless experience, because normally it's quite painful. But yeah, felt kind of really easy. I mean, it was slightly different because I was 5 months pregnant at the time. So everything felt kind of a bit like out of the ordinary, I suppose. But I never thought I would get the part. I just sort of went along because it'd be fun. Because I was 5 months pregnant and I had planned not to work. That was what I was going to do. And it was a massive undertaking and a massive show. And also, at the time, I felt as well, I'd never heard of Netflix shooting anything in the UK or even in Europe. And I think it was kind of one of their very first kind of shows they produced themselves. So it was an unknown kind of entity for me.
When you got the script, frankly, did you think it would be the hit it is?
I've never thought that anything I would be in would be really successful, and I think it's a kind of a magic thing that happens. And when we were shooting it, we all knew it was great and we loved it, but you're so used to, in this job, loving something and putting your heart and soul into it and then doing it and everyone goes, it was terrible, or no one watched it, or no one really cared, and you're just like, oh, okay, on to the next.
So you were happily surprised?
Just hugely surprised, yeah.
Working with John Lithgow, who plays Churchill, with a new movie out about Churchill.
I know.
What was it like to work with John?
Well, I mean, first of all, when I heard that he was cast, it made me really, really excited about the show, because by that point, I'd only been cast, and so I thought, this is going to be awful, because I'm in it. And then I heard he was cast, and I just thought, that's such a exciting, different choice. Because Churchill's such an incredibly famous British leader, and he's so much about what it is to be English is sort of bound up with him, and there's, so as an English person, it's very difficult to kind of approach that character. I think it must be very hard. And also, we have such a wealth of incredible older actors who could have played the part. But John is just, I mean, you know him. He's
also very funny.
He's incredibly funny. He's got a wit and a charisma and a levity, which I think is exactly right for Churchill, and just also a lust for life, which I think Churchill had always, that he wanted to make the most of every single opportunity, and that's what John's like. He's just an absolute hero. It's
certainly a warts and all production.
Yeah.
What do the Brits think?
I think it's gone down really well in the UK. I mean, I don't necessarily in my everyday life meet lots of people who've watched it. And I think every time I've been to the US, it's always been for the show. So I'm much more aware of how Americans feel about it. But I think people have enjoyed it, and I think people probably think it's a very American thing because it's Netflix. But really, at the heart, it's a very British show, really.
Has the royal family commented?
No, they never will.
You think they must watch it? Come on.
We definitely know that people in the household have watched it and that certain members of the family have watched it, but we don't know whether, the boss has.
Did you learn a lot doing it?
Yeah, loads. I think Peter's scripts highlight things about British history or about the royal family which aren't common knowledge. That's what he likes to find. He likes to sniff out the kind of juiciest morsel which is sort of seems mundane or too ridiculous to write about because you couldn't make it up, and he loves that. He loves the most possibly kind of unbelievable thing, and he's just got loads.
Have you finished the second season?
Yes.
So you're done?
Done.
What can you tell us about it? And don't say you can't say a thing.
Well, it's already happened, so it's...
But why are actors hesitant to tell me a little bit about what might... You're not? Okay.
Great, here I go.
What's going to happen?
Episode 1. Well, I mean, we start the second series where we ended the first one, so it's kind of 1957, 56, 57, and we go up to 63. So...
He's back in office?
Well, no, so it's Harold Macmillan. So we have Eden, and then we have Harold Macmillan, played by Anton Lesser. And then we have Princess Margaret meeting Tony Armstrong-Jones, which you can only imagine is kind of mad. And then we have the Kennedys. We have the Kennedys in there somewhere, which is amazing. But it's
so John is not in?
John's in one scene that he already shot. So I kept saying, can't we just get him back in? Because it would boost morale. But no, he's not come back. He's in one scene, in a flashback scene.
Was it tough to play?
It was tough to shoot, rather. I think the toughest part of it was not judging myself or trying to get it right or worrying about what everyone else would think. Luckily, I had a small child, so I had no time to think about what anyone... I could only rely on my instincts and what I felt was the right decision. And then the directors were incredible and kind of just said, keep an eye on this, don't do that. And we had a voice coach and all those sorts of things. But it was mainly just not psyching myself out was the thing.
Claire Foy is the star of the sensational Netflix hit. The series is The Crown. Coming up, Claire on her celebrity growing every day and her behind-the-scenes roots. Stay with us. We're back with Claire Foy, the star of The Crown. You won the Golden Globe for your performance. You called it an out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
Does that say you were shocked?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was a really weird... I've never been to anything like that before. I've been to kind of UK award shows and things like that, but... it's just a different level. And all I'd been doing for the past kind of 18 months was shooting the show and being in that world. And then all of a sudden I was in LA at an award show and everyone was sort of treating me like they're equal. And I was a bit like, this is a bit strange.
It's a great show, the Golden Globes, though. You sit at tables, you can get up and walk. And
yeah, it was a real laugh, actually. And we were all there and stuff. And unfortunately, a lot of the, Matt Smith, who plays Prince, he wasn't there because he was still shooting in England. But it was it was just a very surreal moment of my life.
In your acceptance speech, you thanked Queen Elizabeth, saying she has been the center of the world for 63 years, and I think the world could do with a few more women at the center of it. You admire her.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you couldn't look at what she's done and not admire her. I think she's actually been on the throne for much longer than 63 years, and I'm terrible at maths. But she has endured and... been duty-bound for 60-plus years and never at any point shown publicly any questioning of that. She's always done her job to the best of her ability, and she's constantly living in a world where her position and her authority, or what little authority she has, is entirely based on what she gets reflected back from the British people. And I think that's an incredibly precarious position to be in. And I just think, you know, if you could be in the room with all the people that she's met, all the dignitaries and heads of state and heads of religion, and she is pretty much an encyclopedic knowledge of the history.
Still owns her horses and goes to the races.
Still rides, yeah.
You now have your second female prime minister.
Yes, we do.
Have women come a long way in London?
God, I mean...
you would think.
Yeah, I think so, since the suffragettes, I'd say probably quite a lot. I think so. I mean, I think it's very interesting. I think with our Prime Minister, you can't help but notice the way that she's described and the way that she's treated in the media is incredibly kind of very easily off the cuff without realising it.
Condescending?
Not condescending, but... the fact that she's a woman is very prevalent, and, you know, it's all about what she wears and the fact that she's crying or she's upset or that she must be sad and all those sorts of things. And so I think women have come an incredibly long way. Not that we should have had to, I suppose.
How has all of this affected you? You're as famous in America as you are in London. How has fame affected you?
Well, it hasn't really, because I mean, I've been working for 11 years. And I don't... So I think I've seen it from the outside for a long time and have quite not understanding of it, but that I've seen how it works for long enough to know that it's not all it is cracked up to be or pretends to be. But no, I mean, it's a weird thing because I'm very much in the bubble of shooting this show. So it doesn't feel like it's me. It's the,
but you're recognised on the street, aren't you?
No, never.
No one recognises?
Nope, never. It's great. It's because I'm blonde at the moment, and also I don't really live a life where that would happen. I don't know. I don't know.
You don't make the social world.
I don't really. Yeah, I don't really go out to all sorts of things or anything like that. It's all to do with work, really. So
the British are a little different about fame, aren't they?
What do you mean they're a bit different about fame?
And they don't run up to you on the street and, or they don't. They're more polite, I would think.
Well, I think, yeah. I mean, in London, especially, people have got stuff going on, so they're not really expecting to see, like, just, you know, some old famous person on the tube. So you don't really, everyone's very much kind of like focused on what they're doing, and especially because we get cold weather here, and so people bundle up, and it's not so much, it's not like LA where it's a kind of celebrity town. But I don't really know, to be honest. I've never really experienced it. I think celebrity culture is something that is a sort of self-fulfilling thing, and people have such a huge appetite for it. A
little phony too.
What the idea of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think people want to believe that the people that they look at who are that they're not real people. It's very much like the royal family. You want to believe that they're special and magical, but they're not.
Did you want to be a cinematographer?
I did. Yeah. When I was younger, yeah. When I was
so you're into the camera. I
love light. And I don't necessarily love I do like taking photographs, but I don't really have a fascination with how the moving camera works.
Would you like to be a cinematographer on a film?
No.
So
not now.
You wanted to be one, though.
Yeah, and then I learnt more about it, and then went, oh no.
It's important, though, isn't it?
Oh my God! But that's the point. Is when you see someone, for example, like Adriana Goldman, who's the DOP on The Crown. When you see someone who just they live and breathe it, and they never stop working. He never stops lighting, and he makes it look like The Godfather. He makes it look beautiful. And if I did that, it would just be, here's a light bulb. Up
next, we're getting Claire to reveal her guilty pleasure, who she trade places with for a day, and what life is like after playing the Queen. More after the break. We're back with Claire Foy of The Crown series, Golden Globe winner, great actress. She'll soon be seen with Andrew Garfield, right? So you finished the second season. The Queen will be recast for the third season. Do you know who will play her?
No. No, I don't. No, I don't know.
Do you have a thought?
No, because, I mean, it's very odd kind of having an idea about who you will turn into. But I think they're an amazing bunch, the directors and the producers and the writers. So I think they'll have exciting ideas.
How do you feel about giving up your crown?
I don't know yet, because I don't really... I think once the next lady starts, I'll be like, oh, I feel a bit sad. But not... I think I'll also be amazed that I was part of it. I can't wait to watch what happens to the show, and I can't wait to watch it as just a...
As a fan?
Yeah, I just can't wait.
Okay, we play a little game of If You Only Knew. I just throw questions at you. You do not have to answer them. It is not a trial.
I feel quite... My heart's sort of beating
Okay,
quite
don't...
fast.
No, Claire. Who is your childhood celebrity crush?
Stephen Gately from Boyzone.
Guilty pleasure?
Oh, God. Oh, my God. I don't really know.
You like sweets?
Just sugar or cake.
Cake.
Cake. And I've tried recently to purge myself of all my guilty pleasures, so I don't do them. I used to watch terrible reality TV. I don't do that anymore.
Really?
Yeah. I used to love it, but now I have no guilty pleasure.
Kardashians, you want?
No, I couldn't. No.
Who would you trade places with for a day?
A brain surgeon.
Pretty good. Secret talent?
I can Irish dance.
How's your American accent?
Terrible. And I've just done something in an American accent as well. No, it's fine. It's like any accent. I just have to work on it. I should never say it's terrible. It's amazing.
Is it hard?
No, I think it's difficult coming off the back of doing something like the Queen's accent, which is so... It's like speaking in tongues. It's so particular. And it's just a very different vowel sound. The most difficult thing about accents is getting to a point where you're comfortable with them so that you're not doing them anymore.
Strangest job you've ever had?
Oh, my God. A lot. I had to take... I don't know what else to call them. The pipes for prawn defecation out of them. I had to take out the sort of poo pipes of prawns on one job.
The poo pipes of prawn? What are you talking about?
You know, like sort of the intestines of a prawn. But not they have them, but they have sort of pipe. You can't eat them because they make you very ill. I spent a whole day taking those out of prawns.
Where, in a butcher shop? Where?
No, in a tent. I was working at a wedding.
Something you wish you were better at?
Oh, God, speaking. Everything.
Favorite vice?
Oh, God.
Oh, you're too
laughing.
perfect, Claire.
I'm not. I just can't think. I just am so...
What's your funniest fan encounter?
God, I don't think I have any. I've been a fan of people.
Have you done little weird things?
Yeah.
Run up to people?
Yeah. I went up to the BAFTAs, Louis Theroux. Do you know Louis Theroux, the documentary maker?
No, I don't know.
Oh, my God, he's amazing. And I saw him at the BAFTAs and sort of just... I had to tell him that I loved him, so I just went up to him and told him that I loved him and then left. And it probably wasn't the wisest thing to do, but I feel very good that I've told him that I loved him, so that's good.
Your husband's an actor too, right?
He is, yeah.
Do you ever work together?
No, we did meet on a job, but no, we never worked together, no.
Who's your favourite member of the royal family?
The Queen.
What's the most quintessentially British thing about you?
I'm stoic.
Do you take tea?
I drink tea, but I don't take it.
What does take tea mean?
I think posh people do that. I think it's when you have tea in the afternoon with kind of crumpets and sandwiches and cakes and things like that.
People do that every afternoon?
Only about 0.1% of the population. The rest of people wake up and have a cup of tea like this.
Claire will answer your social media questions in our final segment. Plus, might she be in Damien Chazelle's next film? We'll find out after the break. We're back with Claire Foy, the star of The Crown. It's in its second season now, coming on Netflix, and she won the Golden Globe for it. A couple of social media questions. Okay. Morella Maria Lapour, What would you ask the Queen and Prince regarding their lives?
I don't know. I don't, because I don't want to be sort of ghoulish about it. Or maybe I'd ask about when they first met. And I know that they met when he was at Naval College and she was 13 and he was 17, I think. But yeah, they're very different people as well. So I would ask, you know, how much time they genuinely do spend together.
Must be difficult.
And how they've done it. I'd like to know how they've
Must be difficult being royalty.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
To be prominent.
And I think a lot of people kind of think, oh, but, you know, they've got loads of privileges and they live in a castle and a palace and stuff. And I completely understand that. But if you take away someone's freedom, I think that's a pretty big ask.
Matt Smith, how do you feel about the media and the paparazzi?
Oh, I think that's for Matt. I couldn't answer on behalf of Matt Smith. Not fond, I think is the answer.
Not fun.
Not fun.
Colleen tweets, why don't you have any social media accounts?
Oh, I don't. I mean, it's a personal thing, but it's like I don't have Facebook. I got rid of Facebook many, many years ago because it's not very good for me as a person. I would just spend my entire time looking at people I went to school with and I'd disappear into an abyss of time. And also I want to try and avoid buying into all that as much as humanly possible for myself. It makes me, it hurts my heart a bit.
Amy Arkey, 23. How does Elizabeth and Philip's marriage change this season?
Gosh. I think the difficulty with it is it doesn't change. So it's a classic case of a marriage where they haven't noticed that either of them have changed and they're both going on different paths. Luckily, we know that they stay together. But it's about it being a marriage. And I think it's not... Peter Morgan isn't writing this, a princess meets a prince and they live happily ever after, and isn't it magical?
They weren't madly in love, were they?
I think they were, yeah. I think they were really madly in love. But I think life happens and difficulty happens, and I think you either come together or you get drawn apart, and you just hope that they can work it out.
Ferrante asks, were there any scenes you shot and really loved that didn't make it into the series?
We shot loads in Africa of them at treetops that never made it in. That was all with Stephen Daldry, and it was all incredibly romantic and kind of really hot. I remember it being really hot. But yeah, there was one scene where we shot our wedding night that never made it in, which
really?
I think it's right that it didn't make it in.
Why?
It wasn't like it was like a passionate moment. It wasn't because of that reason. It was very, very funny. I thought it was a very, very funny and very kind of indicative for both their personalities. But we'll never see it, so we'll never know.
Did you disagree with them leaving it out?
No, no.
Oh, you can say it.
No, I can't. They might have me.
Now, is it true that you're going to star in Damien Chazelle's next movie about Neil Armstrong?
Yes, I think. Can I? Yes, I am, yes.
Playing his wife?
I am, yeah, Janet, yeah.
I'm surprised that after all this time, they're finally doing a movie about him.
Really?
Well, think of it. How long ago? He landed on the moon in 1960-something.
But it's interesting. It's kind of like The Crown, for example, is about the Queen when she was younger. I think it's one of those things that it's just enough time has passed that people aren't going to be viewing it, not protectively, but kind of with the idea that it's very difficult when you make anything about a figure that's known very well, is that everybody's got an opinion on how it should be done or how it... And I think enough time has passed now for people just to hear the story and see the story. And
Have you seen the script?
I have, yeah.
All right, now, who's playing Neil?
Ryan Gosling.
He's a wonderful actor.
He is an amazing actor.
And you'll have to have an American accent for that.
I will, yeah, very specific one, yeah.
And he also was a very private man.
Very, very private.
Didn't like public speaking.
Yeah, well...
Didn't like appearances.
Well, he got very good at it. They both got very, very good at it.
At the end, yeah.
Yeah. And I think I think it's interesting to see two people who, unlike kind of celebrity of today, are naturally straight off very suspicious. I think people learn to be very suspicious and like, what's everyone getting at, and press intrusion and all those sorts of things. But that wasn't as prolific then. But you do see that they as a family and as a unit were very, very private, and I don't think that's not I think there's a reason for that, but
You
maybe
must
it's
be
all
thrilled about that role.
Oh my God, yeah. So
What's it
exciting.
called?
First Man, it's called.
First Man.
Yeah.
Where was his wife when he was on the moon?
At home.
Did they have scenes at home?
Yeah. It's not all based up there. It's a lot of it is about their domestic situation and kind of their life together and their life as a family.
Where are they shooting?
Atlanta.
Well, Atlanta. Good luck with that.
Oh, thank
Can't
you
wait.
very much.
First Man.
First Man.
Thanks to my guest, Claire Foy. The first season of The Crown's available on Netflix, and the second season will debut later this year. And as always, you can find me on Twitter at Kingstings. And from London, see you next time.